It's currently 9:16 a.m. I tried to go to bed between roughly 5 a.m. in the morning and 5:50 in the morning, but I didn't fall asleep, so I ended up staying up the rest of the night because I was afraid that if I tried falling asleep at roughly 7 to 8 in the morning, I would end up sleeping through my first class of the day, which starts in roughly 15 minutes. I have a Blackboard Collaborate Ultra ready to open, and I knew that this event was going to start up. I had heard about it, and I was anticipating it, but it didn't officially start until I think roughly 6 in the morning. And I am thankful in saying that I was able to get the Today's Daily exclusive, though I'm still working on actually getting the elderberry sled, ever blossom sleigh. Either way, it's the latest evolvable building. I'm feeling okay. I just completely finished a 300 milligram caffeine energy drink with a gram of amino acids. I'm feeling okay right now. Today featured my first session of the rest of my classes this semester. The first was my African politics class, which started at 9:30 a.m. and lasted for about I would say maybe half an hour to 40 minutes. It being an online lecture held through Collaborate Ultra. And for this first class session, that's it. relatively easy to believe, considering how I was able to make it to all my classes fine. The African politics class at 9:30 in the morning. The Intermediate Spanish 2 class that I think started at 11 in the morning and ended at 12:15 p.m. I didn't have my visual art experience class, which for that class, I think was the first class in which I went to the liberal arts building. I mean, the Tower building. Traveling this year? Oh. How do you define traveling? If the correct interpretation is on the level to another country, I don't think that would be doable this year, because most countries have passed restrictions on tourism due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. I was at last able to upgrade the Dwarven Portal to level 3, although I ultimately have no idea how I'm going to be able to get it to the last level of 4. Maybe I could put the next city expansion here, or perhaps it would be better, considering my critical supply shortage, perhaps it would be better to put it in such a place that I would be able to put down another workshop, most likely a level 17 one temporarily, with the intention of upgrading the 2 highest workshops once I unlock fairy style workshops. I'm also hoping to replace this building with one that'll provide more culture and produce more supplies. I'm almost certain to come across such a building, given the current new evolvable building event. I got the Yeti Hot Spring. This is a one-way. An event involving an evolvable building will work. I already have that sleigh building, but I don't have a slot to properly fit it. I actually used a supply instance so that I could activate the Elite Archer technology. I nodded off at least once. During all 3 of my classes today. But I was able to attend them, and I participated to the best of my ability. On the way to the art class, I met some familiar faces, including this one commuter student who I've always seen throughout my career as an undergrad at this college. I always recognized them, or him, through a black bowler hat. Or is it boiler hat? No, not boiler hat. Probably bowler hat. Or at least that's closer to it. I've heard that the second impeachment trial for the ex-president begun today. And all I can say is that I hope the ex-president gets convicted. At the time of encountering the bowler hat student again, I struck up a conversation in which I talked about some things though it's hard to exactly remember what. Though I do remember asking about the hat. And they said that they got it from somewhere. They did point out how recognizable it was. And they stated that they at the time were going to the Cirque for a COVID pool test. And that's when I said that I did a COVID pool test on the 3rd of February, and then another one on the 7th. The one on the 3rd was my pre-arrival COVID pool test. The one on the 7th was my arrival COVID pool test. And then I met some. And then when I got into the tower building itself, I couldn't strike up as long as a conversation with the bowler hat student as I wanted. I picked a gap of time between the end of my intermediate Spanish 2 class and the start of my visual art experience class, which again took place in a room that reminded me of high school art or something like freshman high school art, or maybe even middle school art. I don't off the top of my head remember the last time I had taken an art class prior to that. I ended up falling asleep on the mattress at around 4:45 p.m. I would say, between then to about now. It should be around 7 p.m. right now. Although I think I initially got up at around 6:30 p.m. And I went because I knew that today they would be open until 8 at night. Rather than the previous 7 p.m. Which is good because it gives more wiggle room should you accidentally fall asleep at 4 p.m. Makes it less likely that I have to resort to placing an online order for pickup at tracks or something of that magnitude. I think I have roughly 440 dining points. Although that's supposed to last me a whole semester. Excuse me. This is an unfinished contour drawing I did of a shoe that was provided in a box of old shoes as part of the first exercise the first warm-up exercise, though we ended up doing it at the end of class after we went after the syllabus, which was pretty large for a syllabus. It was basically a small packet. Whereas usually the syllabus is a single page, either front only or front and back. Doing that contour drawing in which you're supposed to feel what you're drawing and carefully look at it, moving both your feeling finger and the finger that's doing the drawing at the same time and at the same speed. That was a new experience and a bit of a challenge for me. Excuse me. Made extra difficult by the fact that I'm right-handed, so I had to hold the pen in my right hand and had to feel the sneaker I was drawing, the old sneaker, to the point where the bottom of it is a bit worn out. And the teacher said it was an old student shoe that they forgot to pick. They forgot to pick up at the end of the semester or something. I think I did pretty good for my first time. I made an emphasis to try to do my best at it. Though I call it a contour because I did look at drawing the piece of paper as I was drawing at points, and you're not supposed to do that while doing a contour, or especially blind contour. After my art class, I walked back to Eagle Hall for my interview for a day desk attendant position. And the RD was ready for me at 4 p.m. As that's the time I set up the in-person interview for, in which it was a bit difficult at points, such as the question of how do you feel about representing a client who's guilty. I'm pretty sure that you're not going to know about that, but I said that basically an important thing to realize about being a public defender or other kind of criminal defense attorney, you represent your client to ensure that their rights are respected within the legal system. At the time, that was the least controversial answer I could think of, and in fact, I think that's the correct answer. Since that, in effect, is the purpose of a defense attorney, also, it turns out that a day desk attendant plays an important role in enforcing the college's COVID guidelines. In particular, you're not allowed to have guests over here at Eagle Hall, so you check the IDs to make sure that those who are coming into Eagle Hall are Eagle Hall residents. And you do this by looking for the gold sticker, because the gold sticker is unique to Eagle Hall. But what I've gathered is that the job is relatively easy. For day desk, you could have your homework out, you can have your laptop out. All that's asked of you is that you be sure to keep a vigilant watch over the two entrances into Eagle Hall, so that you can watch to make sure that those coming into Eagle Hall are Eagle Hall residents. My current issue with the 99th Dan Hamming is that the trio that committed the robbery are supposed to look shocked as they run away from the scene, but due to the animation that the shocked facial expression has, they all just look like they're smiling as they run away. And right now, unless I fall asleep again. I'm trying to figure out how to fix that. But I'm also doing that while now focusing many efforts on this new evolvable building event. Again, I've successfully, at this point, I think it's under summonings or something. It has to be here somewhere. I have the evolvable building. I just don't have room to place it currently. It's a 4x4 building. I currently have plans to place it around here, most likely. I noticed that my intermediate Spanish 2 class has a significant portion of the same students I saw for intermediate Spanish 1. Which I was happy to see. This is delicious. I'm glad they're continuing on in their journey to learn a new language and become bilingual. The becoming bilingual part it was part of my answer for the prompt that the first writing prompt exercise. In the Spanish class, we primarily went over the differences between the preterite tense and the imperfect tense. And for the earlier African politics class, we went over the basics of the history and culture of Africa, with the idea that such background knowledge will help us to better understand the current systems of politics within the nations that make up the African continent.